like it's actually Houston that is picking here at number 10? Do we have to?
They put the hat on him. Yeah, they're going to pretend. Yeah, they're going to put the hat
on him.
It's the dumbest thing ever that they haven't figured this thing out by now because of the CBA or whatever. But like, it makes it look ridiculous. I remember when I covered the draft for ESPN and I was there, even the players were like, what are we doing? Why am I putting on this hat? I know I'm not going there.
Well, you can't finalize a trade until a player is there. So technically speaking, you can't put a hat on them. Technically speaking, you can't put a hat on them because they have to go. Like when you get traded in the draft, you got to go to the back room and you got to sit down and you got to wait for the trade to be finalized through the league office. And if the trade doesn't get finalized, that's not your hat. So I mean,
to speak on it with Rob, Jeff is saying, I think it messes up the moment for the kid in a sense too. This is the draft. I want to go put the hat on the team that I'm actually going to. I know what it's like to be a part of a draft day trade. I was traded on draft day. So
were you?
I understand. Yeah, I was.
How did that go?
I got the call. I got the call from Portland, but it was Detroit's pick, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make a trade with Detroit, and we're gonna have them draft you, and then we're gonna trade." And so Detroit drafted me, and then essentially traded me to Portland. So I understand how that process works. But if you're there and you want the hat, you just for your moment. If you want to go there and be a part of the experience and sit in the draft from, you want to get that right, because I wouldn't have wanted to sit there as I'm getting traded trying to figure that out, and now everybody's looking at me in that moment. I chose to be home, be with my family, and I wanted. But when it was happening, I was walking around. I had got up and was just walking around, outside. They had to call me back in the house to talk to the GM and coach and everybody afterwards. Like, come back in here.
Maluach's going here. Phoenix.
To Phoenix, to Houston, to Brooklyn, to where are we going?
Right?
Where's he going?
Phoenix is big. You're confusing me.
I can't keep it straight, man. I can't keep it straight. I'm looking at the TV. The TV says Houston. At least it says proposed trade now on the broadcast.
Yeah, that's a positional need, though. I like that. That's a positional need for them. That's good. I like that for them.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Right? I mean, you've got plenty of wings. You got no shortage of wings on this team. You needed a big that, frankly, doesn't need the basketball and can protect the rim, because a lot of those wings aren't the best defensive players right now.
Tried with Nurkic, you tried with Richardson. Now, you get Maluach in. You can see what happens with that. I don't think it's the end of the world if it doesn't work out for Phoenix. I think that's a great pick for them. I think it's a great pick. Good start to the trade. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now it gets interesting to me. Like now.
I'm not quite sold on Maluach. Can I just say that? Like, I'm not. I get the size and I get it in theory, but I understand he hasn't played for a while, and I remember what happened when South Sudan played Team USA and he made all those threes, right? Like I get it. I get the thought process, but I do think at some point you need to be able to have like a level of physicality when you're playing the 5 in the NBA, and I just can't erase what happened in the Final Four against Houston out of my mind. Like just the Houston bigs just completely outworked him and outbodied him, and he just did not have the lower body strength to be able to hold any kind of position. And I don't know how that works in the NBA.
And South Sudan's been cranking them out, prospects after prospect. There hasn't really been a South Sudan guy that himself at a high level. The last guy maybe potentially was Thon Maker, who I played with. But it's interesting. Yeah.
I forgot about Thon Maker.
Hey, listen, that was Giannis Antetokounmpo's one-on-one cone. That's why Giannis was so good. He had Thon Maker guard him every day.
Oh man,
I like the pick. I'm higher on.
You're always good.
I'm higher on it than you guys are. I think if he gets into a good situation, I like what he could become. Obviously, it's a pick of development down the road, down the line with him. The question becomes, I think, in Phoenix is with all the wings and everything you have, do you keep that together, or do you just completely break the thing down? But he's got scores there. They're obviously a wing-oriented team.
Yep.
Yeah, I think in 10, if he becomes a solid player for your organization, which I think he could become, I think this is a great pick. This is a good kind of value for him as well.
I'll tell you what he can do, John. He can do everything Derek Lively does.
Hey, before you say that, I bet he doesn't stay with Phoenix because this just came from Shams. Literally at the same time that Goodman broke that Phoenix was drafting Khaman Maluach, Shams broke that the Hornets are trading Mark Williams to the Suns for the number 29 pick tonight in a future first rounder. So in the span of about 30 seconds, Mark Williams and Khaman Maluach both are on their way to Phoenix to play for the Suns. And
that's it. There's got to be more in the package, right? There's got to be more in that package, right?
No, the number 29 pick and the 2029 first round pick.
No, there's got to be.
Williams, yeah. That's what we look when you get traded for 2 first round picks. That's what we call a bag trade.
Chance.
Shout out Mark Williams.
No
Stay healthy. Stay healthy, Mark.
I mean, if that's true, then so Phoenix would give up 2 first round picks according to Shams for Mark Williams.
Yep.
Then Brian Gregory, the new GM, should be fired now, not at the end of the night. Immediately, Brian Gregory should be fired immediately by Matt Ishbia. Seriously,
hey, look,
right away.
You give up 2 first round picks. Hey, yeah, you get 2 first round picks. Mark
It's got to be something else to it, right? It's got to be something else.
That's what I said. There's got to be something else. Yeah, there's got to be something else.
There's got to be something else to that.
Maybe they're getting.
They don't like Mark Williams, do you?
We're talking about Mark Williams that failed the physical for the Lakers. The same Mark Williams.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Same one.
No,
yeah.
it's something.
There aren't 2 Mark Williamses.
Yeah. Let's just I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that. I think it's more to that trade. Somebody's involved in that.
Or someone's drafting